Hi, hello everybody. Yeah, today we're going to do a collective channeled message for the Divine Masculine to either see what our guys are going through, or if you are Divine Masculine, then this is for you. I'm going to read it most likely for the Divine Feminine, telling you what your guy is going through, but I'm trying not to forget to also mention stuff and give tips if you are the Divine Masculine. It just, I know that 99, 98, 99% of my clients are females, so that is, of course, is the bigger audience. But we'll just see, okay, what is the message from Spirit for the Divine Masculine? What is happening there? I've got a big pile of cards, as usually. Well, not too many. I'm trying to keep them a bit shorter, and I just looked at the watch and I saw 55. 5 is the number of change. So Mutant Tarot. I mean, the super Scorpio, or Scorpio super full moon we just had, of course, also affected the guys. So we will see what is happening with them, what's going on there. So spirits, please let us know what is happening in the Divine Masculine Collective. And of course, if it doesn't resonate, then this message is not for you. Then there will be another reading. I do have one reading that is called Message for the Divine Masculine. It's a pick a card, I believe. Maybe you can check that out, because again, it is a collective message. It's not a pick a card, meaning there are no options. It's just this one. I just felt drawn to show the universe. I split the deck. I cut the deck, and the universe is basically ending cycles. So the masculine is also going through some endings of cycles, but also it is to me the card of kind of like fate and being exactly where you are, where you need to be in your development. It's like Spirit has your back and you are right according to plan, rather the Divine Masculine is. Oh, very similar. We do have the High Priest. The High Priest to me, or in other decks usually called the Hierophant, is the card of Spirit's protection, connecting. You could say the divine, the High Priest is the Divine Masculine in the 5D, the higher self of the masculine collective. So it did show up, but again, it is Spirit's guiding, and to me also protection of Spirit, but also being guided through certain lessons that we do have to face, even if we don't like them, of course, because lessons don't always have to be fun. The stagnation, it's the labyrinth of the Minotaurs and the maze, and you see he basically has found his way out. Stagnation is the Eight of Pentacles, and in this deck it is talking about nothing has happened. They have been looking for a way out of their old belief systems, again karmic cycles, but remember we did have the universe, the ending of cycles, and in this deck we do see the exit, and there's the moon. It's like the Divine Feminine is the light for them. The moon is the energy of the Divine Feminine, and she has been guiding him even if they are in separation, but her spirit has been guiding him out of the maze, out of stagnation, out of old, what is a maze? You have to find the way out, and you often do detours, and it's basically being stuck, and it's getting out of being stuck. And you see the moonlight over there. So she has left the maze already. And now he gets to follow her and to end his cycles. What else is there? Oh, nice. The Ace of Swords. This card is talking about epiphanies. You see, basically there is a crown. So it is talking about the crown chakra awakening. Also, you could connect this card to the third eye chakra, meaning that they are going through some kind of awakening. And we just saw the moonlight here. It does look a bit like the sun. It is illuminated. So again, the feminine and the masculine energy. Yesterday I did a reading for the feminine collective. Actually, it wasn't intended to be that way, but it turned out to be that way, about the feminine balancing herself. And I'm feeling like the masculine, he's stepping more into his masculine power right now. And if he has had issues with self-love. Maybe it will show up in the reading, but it looks like some of them or many of them are actually leaving that behind. Doubts when it comes to self-love, fear of abandonment, fear of not being good enough, and they are getting awakened. And you see that her eyes are closed, which also to me indicates listening to your inner senses, not being distracted by what's going on in the world so much or outside information, but more like listening to what is coming from within. So I like it. And then we got the Mother of Cups. So they are also stepping into their emotions, into their divine feminine energy, because again, we are genderless souls. We all have everything in us, but also, of course, the divine feminine, the Mother of Cups to me is the woman he loves. It's the woman who is connected to her feelings. So he is feeling connected to her as well. Like taking those, how many? 3, okay. Okay, death. We did have death for the feminine as well, I believe. I love death. It is one of my favorite cards. It is the card of transformation. And again, we did have the Scorpio moon. This is a timeless reading. It's just the time I am recording this. If you look at this at a later point, whenever it finds you, it is okay for you, right? But we just recently had the super full moon in Scorpio, and the death card is connected to Scorpio energy. It is transformation. It is old habits, old ways of thinking, believing are dying. Old pains, old wounds, old trauma can die in order to start something new. Yeah, it is transformation. Also, we do have the crows here. The crows are connecting both realms. So maybe for some of them, they actually have lost somebody and are in a grieving process, but getting on with the grieving process and doing kind of well. But you see the crow sitting on his head, and it's also like connecting to their higher self and getting messages. That is what I get as well. Okay, we got the Nine of Wands and the Fool. I like the Fool. The Nine of Wands can talk about some kind of conflict. So there may be something going on in their life, in a 3D life, that is kind of like triggering them. And they feel like they have to fight for this connection. They feel they have to, or fight other things, whatever it is. But right now they are in some kind of a mood where they know that they have to face stuff and they have to actively face things in order to get to the next level. So it may be some kind of challenge they're facing. It could be like anything, basically. It could be work-related, family-related, love-related, old fears-related. But it's like he is fighting, and maybe something has happened in his life that shook him up a little, because again, this card is talking about being a bit aggressive. So if you are not in contact right now, maybe it's not the best time for you to reach out if you're the divine feminine. But again, I feel like they are doing this because then we do have the Fool, and I like that we started with the Universe and then we have the Fool, and that is what's coming afterwards. The Universe is the last card to end the cycle, and then a new cycle can begin. We see the Fool looking at this butterfly. The butterfly symbolizes transformation. Again, we did have the Death card, and he's walking over this tree trunk. And he's not even looking, he's not holding the leash or however you call that. And he's just trusting that he will get safe to the other place, and Spirit is just taking over and leading him. And we're seeing all the orange here, so maybe they're healing some old stuff when it is connected to the sacral chakra. That could be guilt, shame, trauma, can be connected to the lower chakras, root and sacral chakra as well. And that is what they're transforming right now. And then we do have the dog here. The dogs are talking about loyalty. I'm feeling like he's also checking who in his life is loyal to him and who isn't, whom to trust and who not to trust, and also figuring out that you are definitely somebody that they can trust. Yeah, Cruelty. Nine of Swords. Again, talking about old wounds that, you see he's got the arrow in the back, feeling backstabbed, and that is basically what is happening. For some of them, of course, they still may be in this energy of feeling that pain, because purging, we had purging with the Death card, can be a phase that is kind of like exhausting and yeah, draining, definitely, and painful. And we got the universe again. So we start and we end this reading with the universe, and not this entire reading, this deck. And again, the universe is talking about closing cycles. And since the universe showed up twice and we had the Fool right before it, it is a major new beginning in his life. Something major ends. It could be a separation from another spouse that they they don't belong there. It could be a job, just something internal. Of course, it doesn't always have to be connected to something external in the 3D. It could be closing a major cycle when it means like something like overcoming addictions, overcoming trauma, whatever it is. And we do see the eagle here as well, the higher self talking to them. And I'm feeling like the eagle is not with him right now. We did have the crow on the head, but I'm feeling like he is not yet connected. He is everybody's always connected to the higher self, right? But he is connecting more on a conscious level, meaning opening up, listening to his guidance. That is what's happening more and more and more. And look, my favorite card, Four of Wands. They do want union as well. They want to come home, and they do see their divine feminine as their home. And remember, we had the mace with the moon, like she has been guiding him home, and looks like he's following her call and he wants to be with her. Let's check the psychic tarot. I don't know why my voice is like that hoarse today. Is hoarse the right word? I don't know. It's a bit weird. Look, we got light. The sun. The sun is the symbol, of course, of the divine masculine, and the divine masculine is stepping into his power more and more and more in the third eye chakra. We were talking about the higher chakras and getting awakened. And look, we got two twos. We got the mental conflict, the spiritual strength, and spiritual union. So I'm feeling like they do want this. And what I find very prominent is like the head area. Look, here we do have a smaller head inside of the head, and here we do have the foreheads melting together. I'm feeling like he is purging. It could be anything. It's like what society told them to be right, what other people told them to be right, things that they have experienced in the past, that inner voice, that inner conflict, and then comparing it to what his higher self, or your higher self that is connected to him, is telling him. And also what I'm noticing, there's like this plant growing out, or it's like in the back. So there is something, like a tree, something that has been planted a long time ago, and has been growing a long time ago, because it's old thinking, old beliefs that have been pretty much sunk in, and now he's questioning things that he's learned in the past. And why? Because he's feeling that connection. Maybe there is telepathy between the two of you. If you're interested, I do have a pick a card called Is There Telepathy Between the Two of Us? So you can check that out if there's telepathy going on between the two of you. But I'm feeling like he's getting messages from the divine feminine, and some of them, again, this is a collective reading, so everybody's in different stages. I'm feeling like some of them consciously know that they are receiving messages from the divine feminine, or that there is a connection, and some of them kind of know it as well, but they're doubting it. They're like, okay, there is this connection, and I don't really understand it because I've never experienced anything like this before. So they are questioning and wondering what is going on. But overall, they are feeling this union. And why? Because we got spiritual strength. One of my cats is snoring. Okay. We get the spiritual strength. So they do have spirit, of course, behind them that have their back and that are leading them. And we had the Hierophant in the very beginning of this reading. And remember, I said the Hierophant is spirit protecting and guiding. So they are being protected and guided. And so the conflict between mental, it's a swords card, 2 of swords and 2 of cups, and heart is still going on, but I'm feeling more and more and more that they are connecting more to their higher self and to their divine masculine power. Wisdom. And I was just talking about the Hierophant, and this is the Hierophant in this deck. It's number 5. And again, we do have all the orange and yellowish colors that are very prominent in this reading. So I'm feeling, again, they are working on their self-love. And some of them are actually aware that this is a spiritual connection. And they're educating themselves. They're trying to learn more. You see the ray of light coming out of the book. And we got the dog here again. Feeling loyal towards you. Feeling loyal towards this connection, and just wanting even to approach you. But again, they are gaining some kind of wisdom, connecting to, maybe for some of them they have not been spiritual in the past, and it is completely new what is going on, and they want to figure it out. And look, we got the Empress, fertility. A very beautiful card. So he sees her as the Empress, but of course his inner feminine is getting stronger, so he's balancing as well the masculine and the feminine. It is in number 3. It's a very fertile card. Oh look, and right underneath it we have authority is the Emperor, number 3 and 4. Stand your ground. Very spiritual numbers. Choose wisely and stand your ground. So I think some of them already are 100% aware which way to go. They want to go towards you, and maybe with the birdies even message you. Others are going to get there, and then stand your ground is kind of like a very active card. It's a fire card. It is talking about, I am willing to fight for what I have to fight for, and I am also willing to take action. And then again, we do have Emperor and Empress, which is pretty cool. And then we got Rest and Rejuvenate. So they are still in this phase of healing. But I think overall right now they're doing pretty good. Movement, choices, decisions. And the light again. And the last card in this deck, Wisdom, is showing up again. So they're trying to make wise choices. Wise with wisdom, of course, because they do want to rejoice in celebration. It's a card that it can talk about coming back as well. It's the 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is always a happy card. It's never a third party card. I don't know whoever spread those rumors and defamed this beautiful, beautiful card. It is always a good and happy and positive card. And I always have to say, I would not be happy if my guy had another girl. So it's the 3 of Cups is always a good card. So if there's a third party, it could be a child, it could be somebody helping them. It's never a bad thing. But I'm getting here rejoicing and celebration. It's like coming towards you. It's kind of like a union. But right now they are still trying to become aware of some things. And with the death cards that we had earlier, again, for some of them, maybe something has to die. Maybe something has to end. For example, if you are long distance, they know that they have to find a new career if they want to move towards you, or if you have to move to them, they have to provide for you till you find a new job or whatever it is. And there's something like going on that they want this movement, but they know that they have to be smart about it and make some decisions. Okay, so I need a sip of tea. My voice is kind of off today. Okay, I just dropped my cards. We are taking the archetype cards. It is weird that I felt drawn towards them, but I did. Addict. Okay. Wow. So again, for some of them, addiction may may have been an issue or still are. But you see how he's like pushing something away. I hope not by oppressing stuff, but by healing with it, dealing with it. But I'm thinking like they are, if something like addictions has played a role, I really think that they are tackling it and they are trying to get over it. And addictions, of course, could be anything. I mean, first thing that pops into mind, of course, would be something like drugs and alcohol. But addiction could be anything. It could be sex with people you don't know of. It could be shopping. It could be watching too many pick cards. It could be basically anything. Your cell phone could be an addiction, of course. But addictions could also be like having the need to flirt in order to get validation. That could be an addiction. I think it's a big one in the society right now. You know, everybody on Instagram needs to collect likes and collect people. That could be, of course, an addiction as well. But I'm feeling like they are recognizing what it is that they need to tackle, because this card came up upside. Of course, I mean, I do read upside cards, the light attributes, and reverse cards, the shadow attributes. But again, it is a collective reading, and the fact that this card came up means that, again, not for everybody in the collective, but maybe for many, there is an issue with addiction. And even though it showed up upside, not upside down, like upright, means that the most people in the collective are in the light attribute, meaning overcoming stuff. But of course, there may some be in this energy, you know. Compromises integrity and honesty allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. So maybe some of them are still dealing with addictions, whereas maybe the most in this collective have dealt with addictions and are about to overcome them or already have overcome them. Because again, it does say helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. So if the divine masculines have dealt with addiction, we can be very proud of them. Shapeshifter. I love that this card came out. And again, it is upright. Light attributes. Skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness. Ability to see the potential in everything. Amazing. This card really reminds me of my twin. That's why I was laughing. Okay. Anyway, I love that this comes out because we just saw that they are connecting more to their higher selves, which is kind of like a shift. It's not a shift in shape maybe so much, but it is a shift in consciousness. And it does talk about levels of consciousness. So I love that they are receiving more and more. Remember, we had the Two of Swords and the Two of Cups in the other deck, where we had like some other person in their mind, in their brain. And I'm feeling like that is the main shift. Listening more to their higher self and less to other people on the outside talking to them. Of course, again, since it came out, some of our guys may be in the shadow attribute, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. So projections could be an issue. But since it came upright, I would say for most in this collective, they are navigating through different levels of consciousness. And I love also that it says ability to see the potential in everything, because we, of course, talk about what's going on in their life. So we want to have it more common. Not common is the wrong word, like an overall view. But of course, since we're talking about the man we love, it's love is what we first and foremost have in mind, right? So the ability to see the potential in everything includes, of course, the ability, the potential in this love, in this connection and union that they are getting aware of that. And again, I love that their eyes are closed, and which means listening to within instead of outside interference. I like it. So what else? This one, oh, there are 3. Okay, the addict and the rebel, and look, all are upright. We've already talked about the addict, the fact that it came out again, and it's not the first time that we had cards coming out again. Okay, it can mean 2 things. It can be one thing that Spirit really, really wants to highlight this, that this is one of the main issues happening in the life of the Divine Masculine. And of course, if cards show themselves again, it is a high-level soulmate journey after all, so it could be a projection that both parties are going through that. So Divine Feminine, maybe you're also called to check your behavior. Do you have any addictive behavior? And that also could be like thinking non-stop negative thoughts about this person. When are they going to come? Like obsessing over the bad stuff could be addictive behavior as well. So the Divine Feminine is as well called to see if there's any patterns like this that need to be overcome. And again, if that is not it, then this might be just a big thing that's happening in the masculine collective right now. Rebel, and again, upsides, challenges authority to affect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Reminds me very much of Aquarius energy. I'm Aqua Moon, so I'm a rebel on my inside. I don't look like it, but I am on the inside. But yeah, social change. We had that earlier. Remember the mental conflict when I was talking about old belief systems that kind of like are imprinted on us by society, by our parents, by the way we were raised, and they are, but I'm sensing, basically questioning things that are considered to be normal in the society. Usually if you would talk about, yeah, I met my twin flame, it was love at first sight, people would think you're nuts, right? And I'm sure many of you don't talk about your special person to your friends, because if they haven't been through some kind of a strong soulmate connection, they don't understand and they consider you to be crazy. I don't hardly ever talk about my twin flame journey either. Not because I know that my friends would consider me crazy, but it's just, first of all, it's personal, and second of all, I know that if they haven't gone through something like that, they just cannot relate, and then it's just, they of course have their own opinions then. But again, it is challenging authority not to affect social change, and that is what high soulmates, soul connections are supposed to do. That is also why they are somewhat different usually, like age gaps, cultural differences, whatever it is, religious differences, society differences, class differences, different skin colors, whatever it is, in order to show people, no, it's about love. It's not about a way it has to be just because things have been done in a certain way or there's a certain belief in a society doesn't mean that it is right. So they are, I'm getting, if there are some kind of differences between the two of you, maybe like age gaps, or class differences, or whatever, just whatever the issue is, and maybe in the beginning they were kind of like fighting it or unsure if that is something like they want, and now they are realizing that it doesn't matter. And remember, we had the eyes closed in many of the cards, and I interpreted it like getting away from the noise, from outside noise, and listening to oneself. So they are connecting to the higher selves, to what do I want and not what do other people want from me. So this is very nice. Samaritan. Or finds your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Oh, of course, the shadow attribute could apply for some of yours. For the collective, it's upright, but of course for some, the lower one could be the issue. Well, what I'm getting here is just that since they're connecting more to their divine feminine energy as well, their intuition, this is basically what I get. Oh, it's hard to put in words. The capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Well, what I'm getting is basically just that the divine masculines here, they are very gentle people, and maybe some of them have been closed off and they had shut their heart chakra because of some trauma, and I'm reading this like they are opening the heart chakra and they're feeling more connected to other people, to the collective, which of course also then includes, you know, when you open your heart chakra, then you soften up a bit, not like too soft, because with a open heart chakra you also know self-love, and then you know how to set boundaries, and not somebody who's in self-love would not get used by other people all the time. I mean, sometimes it's hard to say no, I know, but even if the occasional slip up happens, I'm feeling like they are somebody who is very an empath, or that is something that is strengthening right now. But I'm getting like opening of the heart chakra of this Samaritan. What else do we have? Student, and again upright. Humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. And I want to end this with this card in this deck. And we had the wisdom card, which is the Hierophant, in the other deck. And so I was talking about already that I'm feeling like they are having some kind of awakening, and it's not too bad. It's not like the Tao moment. I maybe like would have expected. They're doing pretty well, the collective right now, and yeah, I'm proud of them. And also, of course, divine feminines, I am proud of you as well, because they can only do good if we do. You know, the feminine energy has to. She's the one who's going first, who's leading, and we saw that in the very beginning with, you know, the maze card, and the divine feminine is the moon, who's helping them getting out of the maze. Right, they get out of the maze. That is why we don't have the big tower moments. There is still a little bit of stuff, of course, going on, but they're getting out of the maze. They found the way out, or they are about to find a way out of being stuck. Our divine masculines, I'm so proud of you. And they know that this is a special connection. They're learning about it. They are they want to know more, and maybe also they want to learn more about you. If you have connected, if you have met one another yet already, I mean, and you haven't like had a lot of time, maybe they want to learn more about you and spy on your social media, or just try to find out stuff about you and try to learn things about what you like, what you don't like, what you've experienced, things like that. And again, somebody who is smart, which is amazing. So they are opening their hearts, they have the empathy, but also they got the brains, and that is sexy, right? I like smart guys that are also kind. I love kind men. I always liked gentle men. Kindness is like one of the biggest things basically I do like in a man, and brains is closely followed. But I like this. And I like that he's like a tree because that means that whatever he's learning right now, it is something that is coming to fruition, or I want to say it is something that is going to ground itself. It is long lasting. It is nothing like they just read and then forget 3 days later. It's something that they will keep in their mind. This was interesting. I didn't think I would get that much out of that deck when I felt like I had to pick it. It's the Oracle of Ascended Masters in German. Okay. Mother, spouse, sister, daughter, Lady Nada. So, yeah, again, I'm feeling like the masculine. Oh, yeah. Okay. Makes sense. He's connected more to his divine feminine. And by that, I actually meant his inner divine feminine. You know, like his inner yin energy. He's got the yang. We had the sun as well. But he's getting connected more to his yin energy, which is amazing. Because if we have balance on the yin side, and with the energy we can attract our counterpart. We have to balance. And they are. Wow. I did not expect this reading to be this amazing. To be honest, I just feel the energy of this card. It's so gentle. It's like what we had with the Samaritan. They're connecting. Well, I get two things, but they're connected. First, what I just said, which is actually number 2. Number 1, they are healing trauma that has been afflicted to them by a woman. Mother, former spouses, or maybe even things you have triggered, sisters, daughters. And often mother issues or ex issues can be a major thing, but also, of course, maybe they have had problems with a sister, if they have a sister or daughter. And it's like with us, if we have had problems with male figures in our lives, that kind of defines the picture we have of men and our inner masculine. And if we have a distorted inner masculine, or any distorted energy, distorted inner feminine or masculine energy, we cannot attract our twin flame. We can, of course, meet them, like if we already have done some healing, we can attract them to trigger the awakening process or ascending process, but not attract union yet. We have to get out of the distorted energy into the divine energy. And the trauma, you've probably heard it. It's like simple things that can cause trauma. How many women do you know that have met a guy and then immediately they start changing him, like losing their favorite shirts that they think is hideous, or accidentally ironing it too hot and burning it, or whatever it is, that kind of stuff, or telling them, no, I don't like the way you look and you need to change your hairstyle, you need to change that and that and that and that. And so instead of like falling in love with somebody they absolutely love, they just take the next best guy and then try to change that into the version they like. And that can of cause trauma, of course, because what the man learns is, you're not good enough the way you are, you're not good enough the way you are. And that can basically start with the mom and then other women in their life, because women, unfortunately, we're raised different, and often we don't communicate as clearly as men do, and we often imply things and manipulate in some kind of way. And I'm feeling if he has had some trauma with women in his life, he has healed it or is doing very well healing them. He's very much advanced healing trauma that he has had with female people, which of course once he heals that, he is healing his inner feminine as well, which means at the same time he's healing his connection to you, to the divine feminine. And if you are a divine masculine watching this, I am so proud of you. Good job, man. Good job. Good job. Try to do that more, just go on doing that. One amazing method would be Ho'oponopono. It's not the only method, but yeah, connect to your higher self. It's, I hate it when people say men are not allowed to show feelings, and they're like, oh, man up, men don't cry. That is such BS. It's such BS, honestly, and that is what is creating distorted masculine energy, because they're not allowed to express their inner feminine as well. And don't get me wrong, by that I don't mean that they have to be super feminine. That's not what I mean. I would consider myself a very feminine woman. Also the way I look, I mean, I'm tiny. I'm 1 meter 52, which is maybe like 4 feet 10 inches. I have a very feminine voice. I look very feminine. But still, I do have a strong masculine side as well, because I got a very strong rational side. I'm an empath. I'm a born empath. I have lots of Scorpio energy in my horoscope. So I do have a strong feminine energy, but I have always been highly intelligent. I mean, I've got 51% air in my horoscope, and I've always been very much interested in learning and studying. And also I'm somebody who is, it can be a bit lazy, but if there's something to fight for, I know how to fight for it, and I know how to get what I want, which is very, and not I'm not like in manipulative kind of way. I'm just Mars and Scorpio. When we want something, we don't give up. We just go after it. So I'm not a masculine person at all. I would consider myself very feminine, yet I do have a strong masculine side to me. So it's vice versa with the guys. When I'm saying they're connecting to the divine feminine, doesn't mean that they are going to be ultra feminine guys all of a sudden. No, that's not what I mean, they could be if that is their nature. But what I mean is just that they're healing trauma. It has to do with emotion, like oppressing emotions, basically. Or especially, high soul connections, both are usually very, very emotional. Both of them. It's just the masculine, they grew up in a way where they're not allowed to show that all of the time. And so they're oppressed, and that can, of course, turn into something like addictions, what we had earlier. I mean, the addict card came out twice. That could be unhealed energy. And I personally, this is my personal opinion, I personally don't think addictions are a mental disease. I think they are a symptom of a mental disease, like trauma. And once the trauma is healed, the addiction, that is, to me, again, it's a symptom. Nobody who is happy, nobody becomes an addict. Addiction means they either try to fill some kind of void, or it means that they want to not feel. And what I'm going with this is that I've heard that something like addictions can be a big thing in the twin flame masculine part, because they are old souls. They are old souls that usually come here on this earth to also the mission to clear karma for the collective, meaning twin flames, both parties, the man and the woman, usually experience, of course, I'm talking about homosexual twin flames as well. I'm just saying both parties usually come to this earth and experience massive trauma, often early in their childhood already, because again they want to help clear karma for the collective. And then you are emotional, and you learned to not show that, not to connect to your emotions, which is a massive trauma in itself. And then of course some people, like I myself, I chose meditation in my early 20s to overcome stuff. Other people choose to self-medicate, you know. And then if you are a very sensitive soul because you have a lot of emotions, then it's no wonder why people would turn to some kind of addiction. Again, it could be substance, but it could be any other thing, any coping mechanism. It could be shopping, whatever it is. So that they are overcoming addictions also, to me, implies that they are healing the trauma that actually caused the addiction. Because again, I believe addictions itself are not a mental disease. They are a symptom. They are connected to some kind of traumatic experience. Because somebody who's just like occasionally doing some stuff at a party usually isn't an addict. You know, somebody who is an addict is doing whatever the addiction is constantly or often, or even if it's in phases, in specific phases, not throughout. And so if they're healing trauma, connecting to the healing their emotional body by also healing trauma that has been caused by women in their life, again, to me, it's amazing. It is amazing. And if you're divine masculine going through that, I am really I'm not saying the F right now, I'm really proud of you. I am so proud of you. And also, to me, it is a symbol that union is getting closer. But because again, we have to heal our inner feminine and our inner masculine and our inner child energy, and they have to do that as well. So I mean, that was like a long detour, but I mean, spirits wanted me to say that. And yeah, I love that this card came out. I'm really happy about this. It's Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. It just says meditate. Sorry, I just have to drink. Sorry. So maybe they have been meditating or doing something. I mean, meditating doesn't always have to be just sitting there. I mean, meditating could be, I don't know, like the cliche guys going fishing. I don't hope my guy is going fishing. I'm vegan, so I wouldn't like my guy to kill animals. But whatever, even that, you know, something where you are in stillness could be. Sorry. Oh, my throat chakra is closing up. Yeah, maybe they are learning to communicate more, but they want to communicate, or maybe communication is still an issue, even though they are getting more ahead in their development. But again, meditation can have different forms. Like painting a picture could be very meditative, or if you're like musicians, when they're creating music or listening to music, could get into some trance-like states. So meditation is not like just one thing. There's different ways to connect to spirit, of course. Art could be a way to do that, but maybe they are really working on connecting. Yeah, we had that earlier, connecting to their higher self. Oh wow. We got Pallas Athena, which is my favorite Greek goddess. Free yourself from drama. That is exactly what's going on. It reminds me of the sword, like of Archangel Michael, who is there for protection, but also, of course, to cut cords to traumatic experiences, people, places, situations, whatever it is. So it looks like they're doing some cord cutting. Maybe not intentionally, but subconsciously. Okay, is there a last one? Kuan Yin, let go of it. They're letting go of stuff. Healing. You see how she's wearing that pure white dress? It's like purifying. It's clearing the energy body, getting rid of stuff. Wow, Divine Masculine, I did not expect you would get a reading like this. I am so, so proud of you guys. Let's go here. We're already at 50 minutes. Well, I didn't want to be that long. Look, we got the Yin Yang that came out in the Divine Feminine reading yesterday. Sexual freedom. Maybe they are healing some sexual trauma as well. Maybe they are missing you. They want to merge bodies with you. But also you see all the orange manifestation, and we see manifestation here is connected to the sacral chakra. But also art. I was just talking about art. Art is also connected to the sacral chakra. Everything that you create. I mean, creation could be making a baby, hence sexuality, but also being creative. Artists have a very strong sacral chakra. That is why often they also have a very strong sex drive because of the strong sacral chakra, because they're creating and creating and creating. That's where the drug, sex, and rock and roll came from. Chivalry. Oh, look, I love. There's not too many. Oh my God. I just want to show you. Look, there's not too many where there's like a masculine on there. It's often the feminine. You see that, right? Or there's couples, but there's not too many where the masculine is on. It's really more feminines or couples. But we were talking about the Divine Masculine, and look at that. We got chivalry. And then I love that we had dating. Look, we have two where the guy is bringing roses to the girl, wooing her. Isn't that an amazing word? Woo. I want to be wooed. Woo. It's a funny word. It sounds funny. Woo. Wooing. He wants to court her, woo her. I mean, look, he's basically coming, and we have the bird flying away, the higher self. So maybe they will get the impulse to reach out and gift her. And again, it could be like a small thing like flowers, but it doesn't have to be. Maybe it could be something else, you know. It could be just nice words, compliments. But chivalry, it's the gentleman. And then dating, I mean, again, it's the guy with the flowers. And I love, you saw there's hardly any guys on here, and we're talking about the Divine Masculine and what is coming out. The Divine, well, it's not the Divine Masculine, but it's the guy with the flowers and the horse. It's a freaking prince. It's not a white horse, but that's okay. I always preferred black horses. My prince would have a black horse. But yeah, they're also getting ready. They're getting ready, they're getting ready, they're getting ready. Those guys are getting ready. Again, it's not, for many, not quite here yet, because they're still doing the last bits of work. But they're doing it. So if you're Divine Feminine, I can only say, do your job. Keep on manifesting. Keep on drawing him in. And listen to the reading I posted yesterday or the day before. I don't know when I'm going to upload this one. But the last collective reading, the last video I uploaded. Listen to it. They're very much connected, to be honest. So, last message. Creativity. Yeah, we're just talking about artists and sacred chakras. So maybe they want to do something creative for you, have a creative date, invite you on a creative date, or I don't know, maybe they are artists and they want to write something for you, paint something for you, whatever it is, or they are sending you signs through music. The higher self is sending them signs, something like this. But also creativity. I mean, there is a specific card about manifesting, but we were talking about creating something. Creating is kind of like manifesting. So, yeah, that is nice. Look at this guy. Look, this one wanted to show itself as well. Spiritual maturity. Going up. Developing, ascending. We got 2 more decks. And then we're done. And again, I should choose less decks. I like this deck. And we got the eagle again. The eagle came out several times today. It's so funny. I was just going to say the eagle, is that a symbol of the divine masculine? I'm not sure. That I was going to say, I know the stag is. The stag is a symbol of the divine masculine because only the male stag have antlers. And antlers are like antennas connecting to the divine. And I was just about to say that. And then, I mean, it's not a stag. It's a caribou, whatever that is. Looks a bit like a stag. And I was just talking about, yeah, I wish I had said it now. Damn. I had it in my mind and I split it and this is what comes up. You see the sun here in the back again. I was talking about they learn about their self-love and getting into their masculine energy. And then here we got the antennas. Again, connecting to their higher self, connecting to their emotions, to their intuitions. Stepping into the divine masculine energy. And the card we had earlier, the chivalry card, I mean, that's a divine masculine card, isn't it? A guy that doesn't come with trauma. I mean, not trauma, I meant to say drama. No drama, but flowers, roses, and a freaking horse. No, I don't want to have a horse, too much work. I love horses, but I wouldn't want to have my own. But, I mean, that's divine masculine energy. And then here as well, all of the animals with antlers. I mean, are they called antlers? I'm not sure. No, antlers are what insects have, right? I'm sorry. Again, English is not my native language, so I don't know what this is called. They just call them antennas to channel the divine. So we got perseverance, resourcefulness, movement, determination. So they are determined to come forward. They are determined to face their stuff. They are determined to heal. They are determined to connect. Sea turtle, number 7. Again, spirituality, beginning, self-reliance, journey, and home. And I want to end this with this eagle again, with this card, because this reminds me of the very first deck. Remember, the first card we had was the universe, or the world, the universe. Then we ended that deck with the Fool, and then again the universe, beginning and journey home. It's like, yeah, the beginning, the Fool, the journey home. They want to come home to you. Self-reliance, meaning they're stepping into their power. Home. And what is home? Well, for us, it's them, and for them, it's us. It's our counterpart, it's our beloved, it's our love. It's a journey. So they're getting ready to get home. Wow. I love it. Divine masculine, good job. Good job, good job, good job. Look, true love. Can't make it up, right? So this is the last deck for today's reading. Oh, I just saw it. I believe it's the Forgiving and Learning card. Yeah. Again, some of them are still healing the wounds that they had experienced from females, women. So they are still doing it. And look like those ghosts in the back. They look like they're girls as well. So that's been haunting them, that stuff. He is going through that. And they're freeing themselves from that stuff. Because they're awesome. And we got the new love. Get the new love as connecting more with their heart chakra. Being able to love again. Because again, if they have been traumatized and they had closed the heart chakra, then they were not really able to to mirror that love they felt back to us. And of course, we're not ready to receive it because of our own unhealed trauma. But I'm getting this really new love. What I'm getting is getting into the energy of being able to love again. And then this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. And calling in your soulmate and wedding. Calling in your soulmate, it says your prayers, affirmations, visualizations help you bring together. So, Divine Feminine, you are called to do your work. Again, visualize, pray, do your affirmations on your self-love, on your inner balance, on your inner union within yourself, your own inner masculine feminine, because only if that has happened, we can attract it on the outside. And they are doing that as well. And many of them I get are daydreaming about you or visualizing you, and or pray to the universe to meet you again. And then wedding, of course, it may not be like literally a wedding. For some of them, maybe they have these kind of intentions. And for others, I mean, it's just like getting to a next step. I mean, if you haven't even had like a date yet, then maybe the next step would not be marriage, it would be a date. But again, it is progressing. I mean, it is wanting to commit. Call it marriage or wedding or not, but it's wanting to commit. So again, it's the divine masculine energy. The distorted masculine, he doesn't want to commit. The divine masculine, he does. So again, wow, I am happy about this reading. And again, it took like an hour. I thought they would be shorter. Because those pico cards usually took like 1.5 to 2 hours. And I wanted to do shorter. Well, I mean, it is a bit shorter, but I have to use less cards. But today I felt drawn to all of these cards because I haven't done a masculine reading like this before. So that's why I guess Spirit wanted to say a few things, and they did. And I want to say something too, and I forgot to say it in the beginning. I appreciate everybody for liking, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, of course. If this helps you and you want to leave a tip, there is a PayPal link below, and of course I am available for personal readings. All you have to do is contact me. My information is below, and yeah, I would appreciate to have your energy there in another reading. I wish you all the best. Now, bye-bye.